Jeremy, welcome.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good, thanks. What's your opinion of how American politics have played out with the new administration in place?
Believe it or not, it's hard to imagine that we could have become any more of a divided country, but that seems to what has happened. Seems to have been what's happened. So it's every day it's
why has that happened?
Well, clearly, you know, the election didn't do anything to unite the country. If anything, the policies that have been enacted since the election have really driven a wedge in between the American people.
And what needs to happen in order for that to reverse, for the people to unite again?
Well, yeah, that's the question, right? You know, what would it take for Americans to start to come together and be more united as a people? And you know, the first, probably the most important thing would be for the political leaders to take a more moderate tone and be more respectful of people of different views. You know, this has been going on for, you know, getting progressively worse over the last 10 to 15 years, where politicians seem to play to the worst instincts of their constituents.
We're talking about the president's first 100 days in office. His approval ratings are historically low. What do people say around you? What do they say about that?
Well, yeah, people are kind of shocked of, again, how divisive his policies are, and just his unwillingness to reach out to people of different views. It's something that keeps people up at night. You know, obviously there are people who voted for him that are probably very happy with the way he's behaved, but for many people, it's something that just keeps us up at night. Every time he signs an executive order, or he sends out a tweet that seemingly destabilizes either stuff internal to the United States or internationally. It's just something that he's constantly at the forefront of the news.
What issues are most important to you?
Well, yeah, I think, you know, most recently, it's, you know, what's going to happen between the United States and North Korea. A lot of the stuff he's done up to this point is stuff that are policies that can easily be reversed, but on the international stage, something like that isn't something that you can put back in the bottle so easily.
How involved are Americans in international politics?
I would say most people are more concerned about what's going on locally with the economy and jobs in their respective areas. But when it comes to something like a North Korea or a Syria, it's something that comes right to the forefront and becomes the #1 issue. You know, after years of being involved in the Middle East, I think people are pretty much done with, you know, kind of being the tip of the spear when it comes to international intervention and nation building. I think we've had to feel enough of that. So when we start to hear stuff about moving towards Syria or broadening our efforts in Syria and a potential, you know, conflict in North Korea, it's something that just, you know, gets on our nerves, to say the least.
How important would you say it is that a president keeps his campaign promises? Would you say that Trump is keeping his campaign promises?
He's definitely kept some, you know, with regards to stuff on immigration. His policies on immigration, he's definitely done everything that he said he was going to do. You know, he also seems very intent on building a wall between Mexico and the United States. So with regards to those kind of policies, yes, he may be less, you know, with regards to something like NAFTA, the trade agreements in North America, it appears that he's less concerned about keeping those. And to be honest, those are probably the policies and campaign promises that he needs to keep most of all, because those are the people in the Midwest who really voted him in when no one thought that they were going to. And they did so specifically so they could, have changes to NAFTA and be, more competitive here in the United States and abroad. So it depends on what policies you're looking at, but I think he's kept some, and some it looks like he's willing to basically do a 180 and totally ignore. So again, it's what kind of voter you are. If you voted for him based on economic reasons, you're probably pretty disappointed in him. If you voted for him on immigration, you're probably pretty happy with what he's done. So in the end, it's, if he doesn't keep some of those promises, it's definitely going to come back to haunt him either in 2018 or when he runs again for president in 2020.
Jeremy, today there are climate marches across America and also across the world. How important is the climate for Americans?
Again, it depends on where you live. If you live in Florida or California or New York, it's extremely important. There's no doubt that the sea level's rising, and we see it every day, what they call sunny day flooding, where the high tides come in and flood out neighborhoods along the coastline. And in states like I said, Florida and New York and California, it's extremely important. We're
watching live pictures right now. Just wanted to say that. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. But then in states in the upper Midwest that are fairly cold climates and depend on factories and more industrial coal-fired power plants, it's less of an issue. So in a big country like this, it just goes to the fact of how divided this country is right now.
Thank you so much for being with us, Jeremy.
You're welcome.